Record again.
Reflexes, spinal reflexes. Now I'm going to combine spinal cord with brain. How does it work? We'll draw all scheme of motor control. All scheme of motor control. What is the upper level of motor control? What is the part of brain?
Cortex.
Cortex.
Cortex. I draw cortex. Did you study cortex in
Start
anatomy?
Yes.
Cortex math.
We studied previous semester.
Well, no, I hope you remember something. Central line means central circus. Do you know central circus? Central circus. Do you know what circus? Central circus. It divides brain cortex to two parts. Area in front of central circus is called precentral gyrus. Precentral gyrus. Before precentral gyrus. And here this zone contains somatotopic map, body map. It's called primary motor cortex. Primary motor cortex. Opposite part behind central circus is called postcentral gyrus. Postcentral gyrus, it's called somatosensory. Somatosensory primary cortex. It's sensory zone. Sensory. Here I will draw a simple map. Somatotopic map, primary motor cortex and somatosensory cortex. It's like here, projection. Projection of a hand, big projection hands with projection of fingers, because big projection, because we use too much hands for manipulator activity, it's our work organ. Then face projection with big lips and big projection, great projection of tongue, zapan. Why? Not for kiss. Although it's good also. Pleasure from kisses due to big projection and good differentiation, discrimination. Discrimination 2 points of stimulation. Big projection of this to provide digestion, taste of food in newborn child. Use this area to provide suckling reflex. Suckling is a type of behavior in small child after birth. In adult age, we use again lips and the tongue to provide chewing, mastication. Masticator behavior, mastication and behavior. And the rest of here, legs, here, body, core, legs. Did you study anatomy this night?
No.
What? Just one second.
Garden.
Okay. And the lowest level, spinal cord, with motor neurons, alpha big motor neurons, and gamma small motor neurons. Alpha innervates extrafusal muscle fiber, gamma receptor.
A gamma receptor of what? You said gamma receptor of what?
Gamma motor neuron innervates receptor, muscle spindle. Muscle spindle. Motor neuron is a final common pathways for each excitation of brain. So each excitation of brain finally inhibited or provides behavior. With frequent inhibition of your behavior, if you have bad emotions, aggression, your brain directs excitation to motor neuron. If you inhibit and stop your behavior, so you, with time you will have neurosis. So physical exercise is a good option, right, to release excitation, excessive excitation and bad excitation of your brain. My advice, physiologist. Well, primary motor cortex function is sending motor command directly to motor neurons. Directly to motor neurons. But with decussation, crossing. It's difficult for me to show here crossing everything, but you right here it's crossing. What does it mean? Right hemisphere controls left part of the body, opposite. Crossing. Right hemisphere, right part of brain controls left part of body, left muscles. What hemisphere controls your right? Left or right? Right.
If we have the right hand, the left
Left.
one.
For most people, left.
Yeah.
Left. Well, and to gamma motor neuron, but gamma motor neuron usually receive signal after analysis in the lower part with extrapyramidal system. This simple pathway is called corticospinal. Corticospinal pathway. Corticospinal. And one neuron of primary motor cortex sends command to several motor units causing movement. Not for a single muscle, for a group of muscle causing one type of movement. This corticospinal tract. Lowest part is called lower motor neuron. Because it's lower, it's down. Lower motor neuron. And motor cortex, upper motor neuron. Upper motor neuron. Обязательно нужно указать, что это за primary motor cortex is called premotor. And zone in front of is called prefrontal cortex. And start of movement, start of behavior. Behavior starts with excitation, prefrontal cortex. Prefrontal cortex is responsible for intention, idea, primary idea. What do I want to do now? Idea or intention. Prefrontal cortex then activates some neurons of premotor cortex. Premotor cortex is responsible to organize program behavior program. It keeps programs. And premotor cortex, goal of premotor cortex to activate appropriate appropriate neurons in primary motor cortex. To select appropriate neurons to start movement. But movement is controlled before starting and during execution. And, motor commands and movement is called execution. Behavioral execution. Execution.
Just
Execution. Execution means realization. Realization of movement. It's term. Execution. So idea, program, execution. You must know three zones. First, prefrontal cortex, first step, second, primary, and last, premotor cortex and primary motor cortex. Idea, activation of program, and execution. Execution with rapid transmission of motor command to alpha motor neuron.
Excuse officer, for prefrontal cortex is idea, for premotor is
Program.
and for primary motor cortex.
Execution, the realization of behavior. Realization is a good. It evokes immediately muscle contraction. Muscle contraction. It's about reflex. Миксуйте схему, как же распределено пространство взаимодействия. Как цвета да, и движение типичной координации. Что вы делаете? Какой гормон противодействует избыточной активности ранения системы? Это тоже способствует. Используйте гормон, brainstem. Question from last control work. The first nuclear, vestibular, daters, nuclear. DM, vestibular, daters, nucleus. And one vestibular nucleus, every vestibular nucleus, it forms vestibulospinal tract, vestibulospinal, what is the function? It activates motor neuron of extensors. Extensors motor neurons. Extensors. Activate extensors. Main function. Activation of extensors. It increases excitability of alpha motor neuron, generating muscles extensors. Extensors. Vestibulospinal tract. Vestibular nucleus, spinal tract. Next, nucleus in the midbrain, located midbrain, brainstem, upper control, red nucleus. Red nucleus. I will mark RN. Red nucleus. Red nucleus forms rubrospinal. Rubrospinal gut, rubrospinal. It has opposite function. Increase tone of flexors. Increase tone of flexors. Stimulation of flexors. With direct activation of motor neuron innervating flexor and another function, upper inhibitory control, Datus nucleus inhibition. Stimulation of flexors and inhibition, Datus nucleus inhibition, extensors. So with transaction, the cerebral rigidity transaction between midbrain and medulla, influence of red nucleus disappears, and influence of Datus nucleus increases, and activity of extensor increases. And animal, cat, change posture with more extended limb, extended legs and hind limbs, forelegs. Another nucleus reticular formation. Reticular formation. Reticular formation located. Rubrospinal. Reticular formation forms reticulospinal nucleus. It has different effect. It can be, it can influence with stimulation or inhibition, plus minus. We will not discuss about details, only name. Значит, reticulospinal, and influence, I don't have space, influence plus minus, both, possible both, plus minus. То есть different path of reticular formation. Значит, reticular formation located in midbrain and as well as in medulla. All brainstem. И значит, где ваша? Next level of regulation is cerebellum. Cerebellum has connection with brainstem. Cerebellum has connection with spinal cord and input from receptors to spinal cord. Receptors, interneuron, and to cerebellum. And has input from reticular formation, reticular cerebellar tract, from vestibular receptors and vestibular nuclei, vestibular receptors, Vestibular receptors respond on position of head. When I turn head or lean or move with acceleration, it excites different type of vestibular receptors. Vestibular receptors respond to position of head and movement of head with acceleration. In the horizontal direction, or up and or down, in the lift, for example. Vestibular receptors input from cortex across pons. Pons, I will draw pons. Pons, green. Pons, cerebellum. I said it, it's really complicated. Pons, and inferior olives. Inferior olives, I will add, I will draw another scheme for cerebellum principle. And cerebellum has output to come back to reticular formation, come back to reticular red nucleus, to Dayter's nucleus, come back. The cerebellum controls muscle tone, not directly, across brainstem, through brainstem. And cerebellum has output to motor cortex through thalamus. Thalamus to motor cortex. No, it's a simple output, or actually more, but simple. Cerebellum has input information about muscle tone from spinal cord, information about brainstem, reticulocerebellar tract, vestibular cerebellar tract, information from vestibular receptor, information about motor command, and controls work of motor cortex and brainstem to coordinate and to keep balance and to coordinate behavior. This main function of cerebellum, balance, keep balance, maintain balance, main balance, and coordination of behavior. Coordination of movements, but two principal functions: balance and coordination of movement. Coordination of movement. Next part, basal ganglia. Basal ganglia. Basal ganglia. Basal ganglia has input from motor cortex, area zone, and the basal ganglia controls mostly, again, motor cortex. It's a principal difference between cerebellum and basal ganglia. Cerebellum controls equally motor cortex and brainstem nuclei. Basal ganglia controls mostly motor cortex.
Basal ganglia.
Input from different cortex zone, and output come back to premotor and to primary motor cortex. I don't draw every connection here. Here only maybe 50% of connection. Because basal ganglia receives signal not only from motor zone, from sensory zones also. Sensory zones, from somatosensory zone, associative area, temporal, parietal associative area, here associative sensory, somatosensory associative area, somatosensory associative area, associative area. Associative. It means sensory area with information from different types of receptors responsible to integrate information, analyze, and create map of environment, spatial associative area, spatial map, scheme of the body inside in surrounded environment. It responds answer. It answers to question where am I? Where? Good job. You can say yes. Good job. Where? 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 Well, finish it, and then I will draw ascending pathway and details about basal ganglia and session.
Все?
Ascending pathway. Scheme of ascending pathway. We have two principal pathways. Dorsal columns or medial lemniscus. You know dorsal column from anatomy. Dorsal column. Dorsal column pathway, ascending pathway. Gray marker. Gray marker. Gray marker. What is around?
White matter.
White marker. And this tract called dorsal columns. Do you know? Nucleus gracilis, gracilis cuneatus.
We studied only a little bit in anatomy. Previous
Anyway,
semester.
for us enough dorsal column, or lemniscus. Lemniscus is shorter word. Dorsal column, pathway. Receptor, somatic receptor, proprioceptor or skin receptors, proprio, or skin receptors, responsible for fine touching, with good touching, good discrimination, sensory neuron dorsal root ganglion, and then here, without synaptic relay, it conveys information directly to medulla and relays here in nucleus gracilis, nucleus cuneatus and medulla. I don't require from dentist to know the name, but you must know that here medulla, nucleus gracilis, nucleus cuneatus. It's second order neuron. First order, primary sensory. And then it's crossing, it crosses and form lemniscus, medial lemniscus. So you can call this pathway lemniscus. And third order neuron, usually in each sensory system, primary pathway sensory system is located inside thalamus. Thalamus, and then to cortex, somatosensory cortex, somatosensory primary cortex, and to this branch to somatosensory secondary cortex. Somatosensory primary cortex contain MAD, somatosensory secondary cortex doesn't contain MAD. Small area, somatosensory secondary, but without somatotropic organization. It's lemniscus. Then spinothalamic. Yes.
On the word.
Spinothalamic.
Actually, what this is what is it?
Proprio and skin receptors. Proprioceptors, skin receptors. Proprioceptor muscle spindle. Proprioceptor skin, fine touch. Fine touch. Fine touch means good discrimination of 2 points. Fine touch. If you want to define a surface, you touch by hands because hand map is big. It's a good fine touch discrimination. The lemniscus is responsible for this. Second type of spinothalamic. It conveys information to spinal cord, interlay, dorsal cord of the second order neuron. Information of skin receptors responsible for crude touch. Receptor crude touch, pressure, crude touch. Crude touch or pressure. Without good discrimination of 2 points, temperature, pain. It's difficult to locate well pain sensation, for example, temperature sensation, due to dominance of spinothalamic tract in conveying this information, carrying it. And then fiber are crossing to another part or opposite side, and go to thalamus, in the 2 types of nuclei, like lemniscus, the same, and another type of nuclei, non-specific. And for non-specific, it can be conveyed associative area. It's spinothalamic.
It goes to somatosensory one and the
Primary, true, and associative area. Spinothalamic. The principal difference of spinothalamic tract, it doesn't have good somatotropic map. So it's difficult to define location exactly. It's problem with location. But this tract carry information in different zone, not only from associative nuclear thalamus to another zone, to limbic system, and provoke emotional response. We will study it more during next colloquium, sensory system. It's enough for us now. There's 2 tracts, but this is enough for you. Then, details about cerebellum. I will not again draw complicated neural circuit, only about function. What must you know exactly about cerebellum? 3 zones, principal 3 zones. Cerebellum,
medial zone, intermediate zone, and
medial, interposed zone,
it's not the intermediate.
medial, interposed. Not intermediate. Intermediate is this meaning is the same, but the more correct scientific term, interposed and lateral.
Lateral.
What is the function? Medial zone, balance and posture. Medial, balance and posture. Posture control. How to test function of medial zone? Romberg test. Romberg test. We now let's do this test. Stand up. Stay. Your foot must be closed. Closed and front, gaze front. Then, more complicated, spread your arm with a finger wide. Then, close eyes. If a stable test detect your position now, your position not stable point. You stay, but your position will be okay. Then you can open eyes, lift your one leg, and stay. And next, close eyes. Stay. Not balance. The first problem. Simple. With open eyes, without hands, with person with damage.
Our sports professor Miklos.
No, not minutes, seconds.
30 seconds twice.
Yes, 50 seconds is a very well result. But complicated types of Romberg test includes not only cerebral function, cerebral connection. So if you want to test your patient, neurologist, wants to test a patient for normal function medial zone, if person has damage, injury, stroke in the medial zone, this person can't stay so in this simple position. It falls. Next, interpole zone. Interpole zone is responsible. Interpole zone, responsible for coordination, goal-directed movement. Coordination, of slow movement, relatively slow. It means that this movement has time to coordinate. How to test it? Nose finger test. Nose finger test. It may be executed by sitting in sitting position or in standing position. With arms on the both sides, you must touch your nose with open eyes and with closed eyes. For person with damage of this zone, what this person do? This person can't touch exactly and has mistakes. And but he tries to do it. This movement becomes how to reach goal. Movements to reach goal quickly and exactly. The precision. It provides precision of movement. Precision movement. Reaching, with problem, person can take quickly. Another test for middle zone, I remember. Test dynamic test to walk along from a long line like here. I can go without problem. But medial zone has output inhibitory, direct inhibitory output to data nucleus. With damage of this zone, or problem, disorder of the zone, medial zone, data nucleus becomes disinhibited and increase activity of extensor. What happens? For example, a person has a problem with medial zone or drink too much alcohol.
Mhm.
It provokes disorder in all connection and becomes slower.
But
Very
it's
slow.
temporary, right?
Yes, temporary. Значит, what happens? Значит, more activity of extensor. So when you move your leg, your motor control increase stimulation of motor neuron with more activity extensor in your body shift more. Then you try to keep balance and move so it becomes so this very white walking because you try to keep balance white walking do stable because it's difficult to do with thin line that it's called ataxia. Ataxia means this walking of gain. It's called gain of a drunk person. Drunk person. Well, and lateral zone. Lateral zone is responsible for complicated movement, rapid, fast, complicated movement. Coordination of fast movement and fine coordination, cognitive function like speech. The speech happens very fast. Right? And when you are speaking, it's impossible to control your how to say phonemes, your words, pronounced words immediately during speaking, only after to repeat. And with problem with lateral zone, what test? Test for coordination of two hands. Move together by synchronous. For lateral zone. Disorder of the zone provokes disorder in speech. Each zone has output with proper nuclei. Medial zone fastigial nuclei, interposed nuclei, and lateral dentate, big dentate nucleus. What structure, nerve center, controls activity of each zone? Inferior olives. Inferior olives. Compare motor command from cortex command. Motor command. Cerebellum activity now. Information from cerebellum. From muscles, muscle receptor, proprioceptors, vestibular receptors, and analyze movement. Is it correct or not correct? If not correct, inferior olives has mismatch, and this mismatch with a direct pathway to each zone, direct pathway to each cortex, cerebellum cortex, activates directly inhibitory neuron, inhibitory neuron decrease activity of motor system. This inhibitory neuron is called Purkinje cell. You must know. Name? Purkinje cell. So, conclusion. Cerebellum consists of three zones. Cerebellum contains cortex, is input of signals, and deep nuclei is output. Output mostly excited, right? Cortex contains big inhibitory neuron Purkinje cell. Purkinje cells control excitatory output and do it more or less, with more excitation or less excitation. It's the principle of control. This control principle with mismatch between movement, command, and result is called error-based learning. Error-based learning. To try to do something, to have mistake, and your cerebellum controls. Error-based learning. Error-based learning. Actually, I use this principle, physiology principle of motor control, error-based learning, and reward learning, in learning of new languages. I learn new languages. English, okay, Spanish, Persian now, some language more. In accordance with this principle, it's very effective.
You know Spanish too?
Hablo español. Más o menos. No practico mucho, pero me gusta mucho.
¿Verdad? Yes.
I have poems in español.
It's very impressive.
Very sweet. Dulce, No знаю, я знаю. Well, okay. Last part about another principle. Basal ganglia. How basal does ganglia work? Basal ganglia consists of coded globus pallidus. Together it forms striate. Coded. Did you study basal ganglia? Basal ganglia. Basal ganglia telencephalon. Striatum.
We didn't study, just we study in common. I think in medicine they study.
Did you have exam in anatomy?
Yes, but only about
How this is
neck and head.
Oral
only.
area.
Yes.
Oral area.
Bad doctors.
Basal ganglia consists of some nerve center of telencephalon, coded and globus pallidum forms striatum. Second, coded and globus coded and putamus. Coded and putamus, striatum, globus pallidus, including this area, internal part, external part, and some structures, midbrain, substantia nigra, and diencephalon subthalamic nucleus. And basal ganglia actually have many connections with different zones. It has connection with limbic system and have participants in emotion processing. So damage of basal ganglia influences on different sides of behavior, including emotions, sensory system. But we will study only motor control. Basal ganglia. Striatum. Basal ganglia. Striatum has inputs from cortex. Primary motor cortex, premotor cortex, prefrontal cortex, associated from all cortexes, more from motor cortex. And striatum has inhibitory stimulation. Striatum has two inhibitory output to different parts of globus pallidus. Globus pallidus internal part and globus pallidus external part. Inhibitory. It's very important. Inhibitory. Second pathway output, next up output will be inhibitory also. Inhibitory also. Globus pallidus internal part has tonic influence on some special nucleus of thalamus,
Thalamus.
motor nucleus of thalamus. And thalamus has stimulatory influence to motor cortex. Motor and mostly premotor. Motor premotor. Motor and premotor.
It's called
Main.
associative cortex, right? Both of them.
Mostly motor premotor. Input from all zones. Output mostly motor and premotor. Cerebellum has output also to all zones and more to primary motor cortex. Basal ganglia more to premotor cortex. With activation of this pathway, striatum inhibits globus pallidus, internal part, and globus pallidus doesn't inhibit thalamus. Thalamus excites movement more, but not each movement, only appropriate movement, required movement. Appropriate means required. Movement is necessary to do now. It stimulates movement. This pathway called direct pathway. Direct pathway. Stimulation movement, increase movement. Opposite pathway. Again, double inhibition, but this inhibition inhibits influence on subthalamic nucleus, and subthalamic nucleus stimulates globus pallidus internal part. What does it mean? With activation this pathway, double inhibition activates subthalamic nucleus. Inhibition of inhibition. Result, activation. Activates subthalamic nucleus. Subthalamic nucleus activates globus pallidus internal and increases inhibitory influence. So this pathway indirect inhibits movement. Indirect decreases movement. But it decreases not every movement, competing movement. Competing movement outside of required. Competing movement. So it facilitates necessary movement, work of this facilitates necessary movement and cancel the competing movement. And movement becomes more precision, more effective. This system controls by substantia nigra in the brain. Substantia nigra, very important part. Control. Substantia nigra, black substance, like black nigra in Latin. Substantia nigra. Output dopaminergic with neurotransmitter dopamine. It stimulates direct pathway and inhibits indirect pathway with dopamine. The A means dopamine. Dopamine, it's not only neurotransmitter of pleasure. Dopamine regulates movement and this pathway overlaps. So with destruction of substantia nigra, person has Parkinson's disease. What happens with movement of this person? Does movement become faster or slower?
Slower.
Slower, yeah. Slower, it's probably. And symptoms appear only when 50% of dopaminergic neuron substantia nigra die. It's very difficult to compensate. It's a bad problem, Parkinson's. Increase of dopamine, but dopamine neurotransmitter, modulator neurotransmitter. So your pleasure condition, positive emotion, influence on the system also. And it affects mostly to motor programs or premotor cortex. So how it controls movement? When you do something and reach result, you have positive emotions, and it increases required program, improves required program. This learning called reward learning. Do you know word reward? Reward learning. Do you know this word? Reward. Reward. Do you know this word? It's positive, positive reinforcement. Something positive. For example, you have passed colloquium, you have reward. Now we understand that. You do some movements. For example, you have a goal to jump a long distance, to a long distance. You try, fall, your cerebellum correct, and then you jump, overcome this distance. Then you have reward.
Like in the Skinner examinations, when the mouse pushes the handle and the cheese comes down, then the mouse learns to, every time they push the handle, they get a cheese.
Yes,
To be rewarded.
yes. But with each attempt, you have two both error-based learning with cerebellum immediately, and more longitudinal learning, reward learning. Use both in every education. Therefore, I say copy picture. You have good picture. Well, it's enough. Значит, our plans. Значит, you must go. Technology. Yes.
That's fine.
I think it's better to have how to do. You must be prepared to next class autonomic nervous system. It's not so complicated topic, but it requires another references. So I don't want to mix the two so complicated topics. Well, I propose that you prepare autonomic nervous system to Wednesday, as usually. Then to next Thursday, next punch and bag. Again, you come my class and write test about motor system. Motor system, it includes reflexes and this, motor system. After our class, you can, Wednesday, immediately after, you can draw picture with reflexes. Close your bad marks, bad score. Tuesday is bad day because I have a lot of medicine students.
So Wednesday and Thursday. Wednesday and Thursday, right?
Wednesday and Thursday. Well, see you Wednesday.
Thank you.